Okay. So hi there. I am Jamie Curtis. I'm the principal of Pinecrest Academy of Northern Nevada. I am joined this evening by some of our staff members, some of our leadership team, and some of our teachers. So I have about a 40-minute presentation to go through. If you have questions, please feel free to put those in the chat box. And as I get to stopping points in the presentation, I'll look for those. Heidi Capurro, our school relations manager, is also on the Zoom and will be helping me respond to questions. Carol Davis, our student behavior support specialist, is also here. So we have some specific questions. She will help weigh in on that conversation as well. And we're also joined by one of our fifth grade teachers, Miss Debbie Cruz. So thank you, staff, for joining us. And let's go ahead over here and just get started. All right. So Pinecrest Academy of Northern Nevada is a K through 8 tuition-free public charter school. And I'm going to go through this presentation tonight, assuming that you are brand new to charter. And I'm going to start at the very beginning and give you probably a lot of information that you may not have known. So at any point, if you have questions, again, just put those in the chat. And then hopefully you learn some new information and you are excited. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer those as well. So typically we would have these events this time of year as we go into open enrollment season on our school campus, and we would host families in our multi-purpose room and have things in person. And with the COVID-19 situation the way it is, that's just not a possibility in this moment. But we wanted to take a little bit of time to share about our school for prospective families and give you more information about our middle school and our fifth grade program. Our mascot, I love our mascot. Our mascot is the Ram. So that's something the kids usually get excited about, right? Is knowing what are the school colors and what's the mascot. So our colors are navy and gold and gray, and our mascot is the Ram. So tonight we're going to go through an overview of the school. I'm going to share a little bit about how Pinecrest came to be and our history, introduce you virtually to some of our team members, and go through our 21-22 calendar that was recently approved. I want to share with you some of the health and safety measures that we've put in place this year that probably will look very similar in some regards to what we'll be doing next year as well. We'll talk through some of the student supports that we have in place, as well as academics, our curriculum, progress monitoring, and then of course our special classes, our electives, which is one of our students' favorite things about our school. And then we'll talk a little bit about our RTI, or what we call the SABIT process, as well as special education. So as we came underway this school year, we obviously had a lot of things shift to what we thought they would look like back in February when I was hired as the school principal. And what that allowed us to do was really shift and evaluate what our guiding principles would be in opening the school and getting to know our families. So I wanted to share with you what we have come to embrace as our guiding principles, and that is first that the health, safety, and well-being of our students, staff, and families is of the utmost importance. So we, in everything that we do, make sure that our students are healthy and safe and well. Our students also, the second piece is that our students deserve a rigorous and relevant education that produces measurable academic growth. And so we'll talk about some of what we do to measure academic growth and to be rigorous and relevant in our instruction. And then third, our students' experience at school will shape their view of education for the rest of their lives. So of course, coming into this school year as a brand new school, we knew that things weren't going to look exactly how we wanted them to look, but we also feel that that their experience at school right now is really important because it's going to set them up for success and how they see school forever. So we've put some things in place, and I'll share a little bit about those too. Some of the highlights of our school and things I love to share is that we really have a collaborative culture. So our students collaborate with each other. Our parents are highly collaborative with our school staff and with our families, with our community. We have school staff that's highly collaborative. We meet and do professional development. We meet and do PLC meetings multiple times a week. Our teams plan together, and we collaborate frequently with our community, not just our families, but our greater community. And we have a very engaged and highly active and focused board. So all of those collaborative pieces are um, just part of what helps shape our culture. A little bit about the Pinecrest Academy system. So as a network of charter schools, Pinecrest was founded in the year 2000. So we're 20 years old this year. We were founded in Florida by a lady named Judy Marty. So she was the original founder of the Pinecrest schools. If you were to do a little more research and research the Pinecrest charter schools starting in Florida, you would read a lot about Judy Marty and the work that the Pinecrest schools have done down in Florida. Our students are at the core of everything that we do. They're the core of our mission and vision, and providing a safe and positive and caring learning environment is what we focus on. So our students consistently say, my teachers care about me so much. They really genuinely experience that and see that. And then we're focused on student growth. So we don't want to just be able to say that we think our students are learning and we think that they're understanding, but we actually focus on measurable student growth. We use research-based curriculum and innovative instructional strategies. So what that looks like in the classroom is everything from technology integrated approaches to teaching, to collaborative student projects and student learning, blended learning, accessing different content through Zoom and through different platforms. Our teachers participate in professional learning at least once a month, if not more frequently than that. And then all of our students have many different technology applications that they use to access learning. So we have portals, everything from Google Classroom to Clever single sign-on accounts and integrated programs for ELA and math and reading and science and STEAM. And so even our young students from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade can navigate these platforms. They know how to log in, they know how to access their work, they know, what to do if they turn in assignments virtually, and they can do that pretty seamlessly at this point. The Pinecrest system consists of 24 locations right now. So there's 6 locations in Nevada. 5 of our sister schools are located in the Las Vegas area. We have a sister school that opened this year as well in Idaho, and 17 schools in Florida. So we have opportunities to collaborate across our state, which we do quite frequently, as well as across states and all across the country. And then of course, our teachers collaborate at the school level. So between content areas, between grade levels, and across the grade level. If you're not familiar with a charter school, if you're brand new, like maybe you've always been in your zone district school, just a little bit of background on what charter schools are. So we're tuition free. We don't charge tuition, and we're open to all students who reside in the state of Nevada. We receive funding based on our student enrollment, and we're funded by the state. As such, we are held accountable to the same state and federal academic standards. We participate in the SBAC exam and MAP testing for our younger students for reading, and that's all part of the state accountability framework. We're governed by an independent volunteer governing board, and they focus on student achievement. They are always interested in what's going on at the school and focused on helping the leadership team of our school make sure that our students are meeting the academic requirements that we set for them. And they also focus on our financial requirements and obligations as part of a state-sponsored charter school. What charter schools allow for you is a choice in your child's education. So your students would normally go to their zoned school that from where you reside in the county. However, if you want to send your child to a charter school, you have a choice to do that. We, in that case, have more autonomy for families in regards to having a choice of where you want your child to go to school. As a single school site, the Pinecrest Academy of Northern Nevada system, we're just this school site. So our governing board works with the leadership team of our school in regards to curriculum, budget, decision making, We make the decisions for our school, and that's at every single level. So for example, today, where our district schools, had a 2-hour delay because of the weather, we don't necessarily have to follow suit. We can do what works best for our campus specifically. It also means that our classes have a maximum class size. So whereas a district school would have enrollment based on the number of students who enroll to attend, regardless of um, the grade level, just because they live in the zone for the school, we have a certain number of classes and seats in every grade level. And every year, if we have more students that apply for the seats than we have seats available, we go into a lottery. We will start open enrollment on January 4th for the 21-22 school year, and it'll run through February 28th. So for each of the grade levels, K through 5 next year, we'll have 4 classes in each grade. And then in 6th, 7th, and 8th, we'll have 3 classes in each grade. So this is a growth year for us. We're adding another class in 5th grade, and then we'll have that whole new class of kindergartners coming in, and we're also adding 8th grade. So this is a year where we'll have more seats available because it's a growth year than we typically might in a traditional year. Little introduction to our leadership team. So I'm again Jamie Curtis. I'm the school principal. Mr. Casey Smith is our assistant principal. This is Sunday Iyer pictured here. She's our ELL coordinator and our instructional coach. We also have Miss Carol Davis. She's our student behavior support specialist. Heidi Capurro is here. She's our school relations manager, and Debbie Erdodi is our office manager. So all of these friendly faces you'd get to see around campus. Most of our students come to school in carpool or by car. Some of our students walk or ride their bike or scooter, but many of them come in car. And as such, we have done a staggered start and end time so that we have fewer, it helps with congestion and traffic around the school, and it just allows us to do some things with programming that's more conducive to housing both the K-4 elementary setting, the intermediate 5th grade, and the middle school 6th through 8th grade setting. Our elementary school hours are 9 a.m. to 3:30 every day, and that is for kindergarten through grade 4. Our intermediate school is 5th grade, and that's 8:15 to 2:45. And then our middle school is 8:15 to 2:45 as well. Our 21-22 calendar was approved by our board last week. So we will start school in August on the 23rd. We have a minutes-based calendar, so we have 175 school days this next school year. We've tried to mirror some of the larger breaks to be the same weeks as the district breaks for families who have students both at Pinecrest and at district schools, like in high school and things like that. So fall break will be that same week. The first week in October, we'll take 3 days at Thanksgiving. We'll have the 2 days there at winter break, and then only 1 for spring break. We do have some professional development days, which are indicated on our calendar as PD days, and then some early release days for conferences and things like that. And I will be posting the 21-22 calendar to our website this week for reference. And Heidi, you're probably monitoring the chat, but just to make sure, you'll just make sure to let me know if you see anything pop up in there. Thank you. So the difference between, you see the 5th grade on as intermediate, and then the 6th through 8th grade on as middle school. So here's a sample of what the middle school schedule looks like. So we have a block rotation. Students rotate from an A day to a B day, with our classes being about 85 minutes long. So they have a total of 8 classes in grades 6 and 7. They have 5 core classes. They have a PE class, and then they have 2 elective classes. So the schedule looks very similar to this, although we've made a few minor adjustments this year to accommodate some of the changes that we needed to put in place for social distancing and COVID and things like that. But our middle school have this staggered schedule, so it's an A-B rotation. Students participate in 4 classes one day, and then their other 4 classes the other day. Our students have time for lunch and recess every day as well. You'll see on here the power hour time. So every other day, our students participate in what we call power hour, and that is differentiated instructional block where students participate in our iReady program for math and for reading. And what this allows us to do, it's an hour or 85 minutes where we provide tailored instructional support for students. So for students who are approaching grade level and need additional remedial support and practice, that's what they would participate in during that time. And for students who are on grade level or who need accelerated practice, maybe they're seventh graders taking an advanced algebra class, they would have that additional time in power hour as well. So it's our opportunity to go beyond what the students are learning for grade level content and provide either remedial support or accelerated support. Heidi, thank you for adding into the chat box. So if you have students also in elementary school and also middle school, we do have some options available for care for siblings for the interim. And Scott and Jillian Sass were asking if it's called the iReady program. Yes, so that is what we utilize for, well, one of the applications that we utilize for Power Hour is iReady, and it's a product of Curriculum Associates. And I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to curriculum. Great question. So our learning structure for students, so we have our core curriculum. All of our students participate in the core curriculum. They have an academic plan that prepares them for entrance into high school to ensure that they've received all of their credits for middle school. And then we have the SABIT plan, which is students who need academic or behavioral intervention. SABIT is our process of response to intervention where we provide additional support, documentation, and instructional support for students who need it. And the wraparound support is that other piece, because we're not only focused on our students who need remedial support seeing academic growth, but that support also allows us to grow students who are achieving at or above grade level as well. So curriculum for our middle school, for ELA, we utilize the Springboard program, which is a product of the College Board, as well as the iReady program by Curriculum Associates. That's for reading. Our students take a beginning of the year diagnostic assessment when they first come to us. They take some interim assessment so we can make sure that they're on track for the growth path that we have for them. And then they'll take a mid-year diagnostic assessment where we get to see that they actually have the growth goals. They're making progress towards their growth goals in math and reading accordingly. And then we have an end of year assessment. So they take sort of that benchmark assessment 3 times a year. And then in the interim, we have some growth assessments just to make sure that they're pacing on track accordingly. In math, we utilize the College Board Springboard program as well as the Ready Math program. So our students have access to 2 comprehensive math programs that we utilize. One is the grade level core content, and then we utilize the other one more for the acceleration and approaching grade level support as well. For our science, we use the STEM Scopes curriculum, and that should say, my apologies, that should be all of these where it says 6th through 7th, that's actually through 8th grade. So we're adding 8th grade next year. So that'll be all the way through 8th grade. The STEM Scopes program is our science core. It's focused on the NGSS science standards. Students go through 6 different scopes throughout the year. So they participate in grade level science curriculum with comprehensive activities built into the educational platform that's integrated into Google Classroom. And they, of course, get to do the fun online, hands-on, not online, sorry, in-class experiments and things like that. For our 5th graders, if we have some coming into 5th grade families on this call, we have the Reading Wonders program. That's the McGraw-Hill product that we use for ELA, and as well as the iReady program for both reading and math. And then for math, our students use the Ready Math program along with iReady. So those are sister programs. One's the online individualized piece, and then one is the grade level whole class instructional piece. Fifth grade is called our intermediate grade because it's a bridge between elementary and middle school. So our fifth grade is departmentalized. We have one teacher that focuses on science, one that focuses on math, one that focuses on social studies, and one that focuses on ELA. So what this means is that the students stay with the same group of kids, but they get to rotate teachers. It's a nice introduction and helps them with just those beginning steps of organization and tracking and learning to learn from different teachers that they'll experience when they get to sixth grade and are in the more traditional middle school environment. So the question was, how many years are we committed to using a program? Will there be a change after 5 or 6 years like Washoe County? So one of the pieces that I mentioned as a charter, we have autonomy in our curriculum. So the iReady program is pretty well tied to our instructional model, which is something that we remain true to. But as a charter school, we have the luxury of evaluating our curriculum every year. Working with our teachers and making sure that they're appreciating the value in the curriculum that we've chosen. So we're not committed to programs more than well, we have the STEM scopes we're committed to for 3 years, but if we needed to change products, we can absolutely change products. So we've spent a lot of time working and collaborating with our sister schools to arrive at these programs that we've chosen. But if we want to do what's best for kids. So if in using the programs that we have in place this year, we find that it's better to move forward and choose something different, we have the ability to do that as well. And then if we like them and they're meeting the needs of our students, we can keep moving forward with them. That's a really, really good question. Yeah, it's really nice to have the autonomy to choose curriculum and be responsive to new curriculum and all of that kind of stuff. So here's just an overview of some of those programs. So, and I forgot to mention for social studies, we use the Project Tahoe pathway. So that's another piece. That's a free curriculum resource that's available to all schools. And our instructional coach, Sunday Iyer, was also instrumental in helping organize that. So, all right. Sorry about that. Trying to get all my screens moved around. Yes, iReady is also for our blended learning. So for where students also have the in-class piece and then they're using the online piece, we use iReady, and then fifth grade does utilize ST Math as well. ST Math is a visual math. That's this little penguin guy. That's the logo for ST Math. So for students who have a harder time with the verbal side of math, the ability to utilize the cerebral temporal math program in ST Math allows them to practice the concepts of math without having to focus on the verbiage and the reading side of math. So when I talk about our instructional model, that means that that's how we do things, right? So we model our school here after how our sister schools in Las Vegas have put the instructional model that they've put in place. Our sister schools in Las Vegas are 5-star schools, both at the elementary level and the middle school level. Our sister schools, 4 out of 5 of them have also been designated STEM schools, and that's also a designation that we'll be seeking in the coming year as those come into play again. So we are the NDE released some initial guidance on how they're going to be doing star ratings going forward. So this year we'll just be looking at our student growth. The NDE has indicated that new star ratings won't be coming out until the fall of 2022. So we'll get to do and utilize all of our internal platforms to measure student growth on our end. But I anticipate that we'll have a lot of success with our academic model. So we use iReady again for the diagnostic assessments and to measure student growth. In our math program, especially in fifth grade, there's more of the integrated games. All of the iReady lessons for some, depending on the student's learning pathway, though it's an incorporation of games, explanation, practice, and assessment. And it really is designed to make sure that all students have access to the way that they and interpret math and the way that they learn. We also focus on reading and writing integrated across all content levels. So we're actually about to go into some targeted writing training for this school year. One of our teachers that's on here right now is our science teacher, but she also teaches writing. So we teach writing not in isolation of other content areas, but as a means of teaching our students to communicate. Our students in middle school get to choose their electives. So we call these special classes. For music, we offer band and choir and orchestra. So students in middle school get to choose one of those music classes if they want to do music. We also have art class that this year for middle school has been designed as studio art. So students get to play with paint, with drawing, shading, and we also have a kiln room. So they get to start to utilize ceramics and do the clay and things like that. We have a STEAM lab. So the students who choose STEAM lab participate in an inventive and creative maker space. And I want to clarify that our students in sixth and seventh grade and eighth grade choose their elective classes. In fifth grade, students get to still participate in all of the electives on rotation, the way that our kinder through fourth graders get to. So in fifth grade, they still get to sample, so to speak, all of the different classes before having to make a choice of what they want to focus on in sixth and seventh and eighth grade. We have the media and the digital library room. Our media teacher is very focused on letting kids explore, so not just learning the foundational technology skills of keyboarding and utilizing all the different parts of the computer, but it's actually a space where there's like the tinkering of the electronics and looking at breaking apart computers and how things work and programming. We'll also be implementing Project Lead the Way next year um, for our computer science goals. So we are working on computer science access for all of our students. So we're excited to bring that on next year as well in the media space, as well as our PE program. Jennifer is asking who issues the star rating. That is issued by the Department of Education. And there's a whole rubric that they use. Yeah, Heidi's got it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so there's the whole rubric, but that's all going to be shifting because the last time that star ratings were given out was in the 18-19 school year. So what they're anticipating right now is that the 22 ratings that will come out in the fall are going to measure growth from the spring of 19 until the spring of 21. So well, it'll be interesting to see how it all starts to unfold as we move forward. I'm going to skip through that one. Some pictures from our electives classes. And in addition, I forgot to mention, we offer Spanish class as well for students who are interested in language. We do have, in case we have any families who are interested in seventh grade for this year, we have a couple of seats still open in seventh grade. So I wanted to talk also about the supports we have in place this year, but also what that will look like in the future going into next school year. So we have put together a whole training for remote learning. So all of our students have a Google account, they have a Google Classroom account, they get all of their work assigned in the Google Classroom, they turn everything in Google Classroom. All of our teachers have those premium Zoom accounts, so our teachers have the repeating class time set up for students to access live instruction. This year, our students are still on campus in a hybrid model. So our students in middle school right now attend in person 2 days a week, and they're attending virtually 2 days a week. And then 2 days that they're virtual, we actually bring Zoom into the classroom. So the students get to engage with other students who are in the classroom while they're learning remotely. our teachers in middle school especially have become masters of Zoom and hybrid teaching. They're absolutely phenomenal. Part of our focus and our goal, especially for our middle school students, is to make sure that we're really focused on meeting their social and emotional needs. This has been really important this year, especially. One of the one of the really fantastic aspects of our behavior specialist job is her capacity to help dive into kind of what is the bigger picture for our kids. What are some of those things that may be happening? How are they processing their world and what's going on? And not just maybe in their space, but also just generally. There's a lot that's changed for our students, and it's really important to us that we focus on providing an environment for them at school that's consistent and can just provide some direction for them. We use Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Happy Teens, which we've actually added the eighth one. So it's the 8 habits, we call them, and we teach those explicitly throughout our campus. That's based on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, if you've ever read that book. And it's just a way that we have consistent verbiage across our campus to teach our students how to self-advocate and how to think about others when they're making decisions, how to prioritize what's important, and just how to make sure that they're being responsible citizens and that they can communicate with each other. We focus on greeting our students. They look us in the eye and make good eye contact and can articulate themselves. They know how to interact respectfully with adults and with each other. So these are all part of the things that we focus on just holistically, making sure that our students are well prepared for a life beyond this school. We have families in our school community who support with all kinds of different projects that we have, everything from uh, drawing and painting on the playground area to actually, installing and working on special projects, collaboration efforts, and things like that. It's really important to us that our families are invested and part of what we're doing, bringing new ideas and sharing and collaborating and trying to come up with plans and vision is what we're all about. Part of what we put in place this year, and I highlight this just to give some insight into how we make decisions and how we do things. We came up with an instructional plan that allows us to shift. So our students may participate in 2 days a week right now in person and then 2 days a week virtually. But we also put this plan in place thinking that if we needed to ever have to go to a full virtual learning model, we wanted to make sure that all of our students were prepared. So they have access to technology, access to internet, access to all of the platforms and explicit training and working with the teachers. And then the on-campus support. So it's not just the first tier, which is the teacher and the classroom support and the expectations, but also our behavior specialist who helps identify, problem solve, make sure that students know how to advocate for themselves, to find their voice and to share any concerns and to just have those moments with their peers that we need to help them participate in to be happy and productive. And then I just want to say we have an incredible parent teacher organization as well. So even today at Carline dismissal today, our PTO was there with volunteers and we were handing out board games that had been donated. So every student had a board game as part of our partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. We also had hot meals that we're there to provide for families, and all of our staff and parent volunteers and everyone just sending our families away tonight with all kinds of treats that let them know that we're thinking about them and that they're valued and that we want them here and as part of our community. And I think we have quite a few people on this call that were even there helping. So thank you for that. All right. All right. So it's also very important as a school that we highlight how we value a diverse school community. So some of the reasons why it's important for us to make sure that all students in Washoe County and all students that are coming to our school have a voice. A diverse school community is a more enriching school community for all students, in that students have more experiences to share and they have different experiences and conversations. Students who attend schools that are a diverse school community have more opportunities and have shown to be more prepared for college and career. It also means that our students have higher academic growth and achievement. So actually diverse schools yield better and students who think differently and students who reflect and students who know more about how to relate to other people. And then the diverse school community also supports mindfulness, which is just that other aspect of being self-aware and aware of how other people feel, and tolerance. And it prepares students for diversity in the workplace and the people that they'll be working with and going to school with. So we really value having a diverse school community. At the same time, we want our students to be ready for the 21st century. So we do a lot of interacting with different student groups and sharing ideas and innovating, collaborating. Those are all within the classroom and across the campus things that we focus on. We, as I just briefly mentioned, we have a very highly integrated and collaborative partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. So we have before and after care programming available for students that runs from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. There's also financial aid available for students who need it. And the great thing is the price point for our full-time care programming, at least this year, is $40 a week for the before and after care full-time. So we absolutely appreciate that. And I know a lot of families do, that it's very much within reach. We also have transportation options available in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. So we pick up students from the Sun Valley area and from downtown Sparks. So if there's a need for transportation from those areas, we have that available as well. And I'll end up posting this slide, but if you are interested in more information about the Boys and Girls Club, you can contact Michelle Worley. She's our site director here, or Gary Durant. He's the school programs manager. And the email for our school site at Boys and Girls Club is the one here, pinecrest@bgctm.org. They also have an extension at our school, which is our school number, and then extension 1002. So we do have the transportation, and then want to make sure everybody knows this year free lunch is available for all students this year in partnership with the Nevada Department of Agriculture. In a typical year, and what we anticipate into next year, is still the free and reduced lunch program based on the income guidelines qualification. So we have that program. This year, the Boys and Girls Club is our food provider. So they bring in all of our meals. So that's exciting too. The food is pretty good. My children eat the meals from Hot Lunch. I eat it once or twice a week, and so it's good food. It's nice to have. Yeah, the kids do love the food. We serve around 180 to 200 meals a day. They really do. Health and safety, as I said, talking about our priorities for our students. So just wanted to highlight a little bit of what we have going on this year. There's a lot of what, we don't exactly know what things are going to look like come fall, but just to share with you what we're doing this year and give you some insight. So we have a school nurse who works on site, as well as a CNA who works on site. So we always have a licensed healthcare worker in the health office. We do the health screening and wellness check every day. So we have an app, and all students participate in that wellness check to flag if there's any reason that they would need to stay home. We've been diligent in teaching our students some of the procedures to keep our spaces clean, wiping down their desks and sanitizing their hands and keeping their social distance, wearing masks and all of those kinds of things. And then we did probably what a lot of places have done, and that just installing hand sanitizing stations all over campus, outside every classroom, in the lunchroom, everywhere. So students are constantly having access to either washing their hands or sanitizing their hands. We also have a partnership with an organization called Hazel Health. So students can access a telehealth visit from our nurse's office if parents have enrolled them in that program, and parents can also join the telehealth visit virtually. So this is something that is actually quite fantastic. We have students utilize these health visits daily. An example might be that a student, might say that they have an earache, and we have a whole comprehensive kit in partnership with Hazel Health. The nurse in the office can initiate a visit with Hazel Health physician on the other end. The parent can join into the visit virtually. And then the nurse that's there participates with the doctor who's virtual, and at times, if it's appropriate and in the circumstance, they can prescribe even like either an on-campus medication or even sometimes a prescription. So it saves a lot of time. It allows us to treat students on campus. If it's something that's not contagious, they can just be treated and sent back to class. So really excited about that as well. And then we focused all of our, our signage and verbiage communication and all of that on with our students in mind. We also utilize the silent dismissal system. So as part of social distancing and just helping facilitate that flow of traffic at the end of the day, our students stay in their classrooms, and you'll see our staff outside with phones. We have an app, and we enter carpool numbers to indicate into the classroom that students need to be released at the end of the day. And so students just stay in their classroom. They can continue either reading, doing activities in the classroom. Teachers do different things at the end of the day, and then students are released not until their parents get there. I kind of went over this already. So just some of the same things that we're doing to keep our spaces clean. So our mission at Pinecrest Academy of Northern Nevada is to unite the community to prepare students for college and career. I've touched on a little bit about what that means for us, about some of the community partnerships that we have, and that integration piece and what that looks like for our students and for our school. And our vision is where scholars perform at the highest levels on all academic measures. So that information that we have from our students when they participated beginning of the year assessments and those mid-year growth assessments and things like that is all shared with parents and shared with students. Students get to participate in that diagnostic process of looking at where their achievement level is and setting growth targets and working towards those goals. And then we have data that actually shows us that students are growing and students are learning. So apart from us just being able to say, yeah, I think my students are getting better in math, and I think my students are reading better across all grade levels, we have data with the iReady program to indicate student growth, which is, and students who know they understand what that means and they know how to work towards their goals and set goals. All right, so I am going to leave it here with our contact information. So my email address is on here along with our assistant principal, our EL coordinator, instructional coach, behavior specialist. Oh, I didn't change Heidi's title on there. I have a typo. Heidi Capro is our school relations manager. So I will change that, but feel free to reach out to any of us if you have questions. I know Heidi had mentioned, and Heidi, are you still on the call? I know you had talked about if we did have students that were interested in coming to 7th grade this year, since we have some open seats, that you'd be open to scheduling an in-person tour for them after the break. Are you still thinking about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Even if somebody's interested over the break, we could even try and work something out through there if their schedules don't allow after the break. So absolutely, please reach out if you would like to schedule a tour. I'm happy to facilitate that.
Yay, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Again, our enrollment window for the 21-22 school year will begin on January 4th. Open enrollment will go through February 28th, and then the lottery will run on March 1st. So on March 1st, you'd receive an email and it'll either say, yay, you have gotten a seat. Here's the next steps you need to do to register your student. Or it'll say, here's your waitlist number, hang tight. As students complete registration, there'll be movement on the list, and you can check back to see your updated placement on the list as registrations finalize. Jennifer was asking, are there plans to add a high school? So right now in this very moment, we're not in the process of building a high school, unfortunately, but we do have a 15-acre site with space that, at some point, if that made sense in the future, there could be a high school. There could also end up being a boys and girls club or a sports facility. So there's lots of room out here for what needs to happen to meet the needs of our students and our community. That's a really great question. All right. Well, I'm going to hang on here. So if anyone has any other questions, please feel free to unmute yourself. You can ask questions. And thank you for taking the time to learn about our school. I know it's approaching winter breaks and these days are precious. So thank you for taking some time out of your evening to hear about Pinecrest. We're always here to answer questions and help give you more insight into what we have going on. And I hope you all have a fantastic break and a happy new year. Thank you, Heidi.
Hi, Jamie. This is Jillian Sass, and I was just hoping to get a little bit more information on how you have your special ed program, or you have a special ed teacher on site at all times, or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah, so yes, so we have 3 special education teachers that for resource. So that is for the academic support, and then we have an occupational therapist, a speech language pathologist, and um, PT. We have PT, OT, and speech outside, and then behavior support as needed. So our teachers serve a variety of grade levels. So we this year have one that does kinder through second, one that does second through fifth, and one that does fifth through seventh. So they're on site full time. We have around 104 students at our school right now that have IEPs. And so we follow, for the most part, the ones coming into us, we follow the plan that they bring to us. But we always look at that and see if there's things that, might make more sense to do differently in our school setting, or, supports that we could implement. You know, different things look different in our setting than they might look at this, the setting that the student came from. So we always have a meeting with parents, a transition meeting coming in. What does supports look like? What are the needs? How's that going to look at our school? Make sure everybody's on the same page.
Okay, thank you for that information.
Yeah.
And if you do get in and you hear and get this email, will we get to have a in-person tour as well? Like that's like before summer, or is that usually right before school?
Yeah, so it's so interesting with COVID. So
Right.
I'm assuming you're talking about for next year.
Yeah,
If you
right.
don't have a 7th grader. So yeah,
I would have a 6th grader if
a 6th
possible.
grader. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So hopefully going into late spring, so our lottery will be done on March 1st. And so students, you'll know, okay, you have a seat, you have all the registration done. So my hope is that after spring break, kind of that springtime, I'm hoping that that'll be a time that it makes sense to bring people in person, right? So we'll have at that point a probably grade level open house. So especially students who are new, can come and tour and meet the teachers and see the space and make their choice for their elective classes for the next year. So I'm hoping for late spring after spring break. However, we're flexible, we're rolling with it. So it's COVID, we're gonna get it figured out, but definitely, if not then, it would make more sense, coming into summer where things are more distant. We don't have kids here also on campus during the week. So that is to be determined. Good question. And so if you have a 7th grader who's wanting to switch over, if she did, would she still have to be in the lottery system for her 8th grade year? So that's that's the good thing about switching right now is that we have a couple of seats in 7th grade right now. So if you were to move in 7th grade right now and enroll this year, then you have the opportunity to keep your seat for next year. So you don't go into the lottery every year. We're right now sending out returning student information to our current families. So priority is given to current families for registration for the next school year. So if she were to switch this year, she'd come over this year, she would automatically get into 8th grade the following year. If you wanted to wait until next year, then she would go into the lottery for 8th grade. I hope that makes sense. You're welcome. And our 7th graders, I was just talking to our social studies teacher this afternoon, and our 7th grade, one of our 7th grade classes was out on the field doing PE, and we were just thinking our 7th grade class is just the most fantastic group of kids. So I say that I also have a 7th grader, but just generally our 7th graders are amazing people. So if you're on the fence at all, I would definitely encourage you to consider it, because it's really just a very, very good group of kids, which is great. And it's a small group of kids. We have 55 7th graders right now. So and we'll have some new 7th graders joining us already after the break, which is nice. So there's sort of a nice transition point. And then at the same time, we're still doing the hybrid learning for 7th grade. So they're here 2 days a week and they're home 2 days a week. So in a sense, they're still, a little bit of getting to know the other group, because one group is virtual. So it's been just fun to come up with some creative ways for them to get to know each other. So depending on your student, I would also be happy to, if you're considering that, like Heidi said, she would be happy to set up a tour so she could come look around, he or she, your student, and just kind of see the spaces and classrooms and get a feel for what it would be like here. It's a very different environment than a traditional middle school, right? It's a K-8 school or K-7 school. So our 7th graders, they're really, and on one hand, they're the campus leaders because they're the oldest kids on campus, but they're still on a campus with little people. So sometimes they get to be like just kids and they want to go play soccer and go act like kids. So I love the K-8 setting for that reason, that our middle schoolers really get to still have that, embrace that dual role of being a leader and being like the oldest kids in the building, but they also know they're around, young ones. And that means that they need to, to be the kids that those younger ones look up to. Yeah, thank you, Jillian. It is, yeah, it's hard, making choices like these are hard. I totally understand that, but yeah, I will say I have 4 kids here myself. I have a 1st grader, a 3rd grader, a 6th grader, and a 7th grader. And and one thing I will genuinely say about our students is that they are happy. They are happy kids.
That's number one for sure.
Yeah.
And were you with the Washoe County School District before you took
I
on this principalship, or?
Yeah, so I was in Texas. I started my career in Texas, so I spent 13 years in Texas. I came back up here and worked at Damani Ranch and worked under mentorship with Denise Hausauer, the principal there, she's amazing, and I was so fortunate to do that. And then I started Doral Academy, which is another state charter school in the south end of town, with the founding family and founding assistant principal over there, and then thought, starting a school is so much work. I'll never do that again. And then here we are doing it again in the middle of a pandemic. So
I can't
I just
imagine.
love it. I believe in it. I believe that this is having the local autonomy and decision making for our campus is it's how I think it should be, because we can be very responsive,
Right.
and we can make changes and implement things very quickly. We can, create positions and curriculum. Like, we can do things that make sense and meet the needs of our students, which is awesome.
Great. How big is your board? Like, is it like a 4 or 5 person board, and are they on for 2 years, or?
Yeah, we have 7 and they're on like so one is on for 5 and then it's staggered. So it's
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So there's always a new one coming on and then someone that's staying
Okay.
longer. Our board is the most incredible group of community members. So Mike Worm, who's the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club, is on our board.
Okay.
Megan Salcido, she's our legal representation, is on our board. Angela Orr, I don't know if you know Angela Orr, worked for the district for 8 years and is now the principal at Doral, is on our board. Frank Perez, Jake Wiskershin, who is a practitioner and managing partner at Zephyr Wellness. So we talk a lot about mental health and it's just fantastic. And then we have 2, Craig Seiden and Michael O'Dowd, that are administrators at Pinecrest Schools in Las Vegas, so that we have that collaboration and authentic connection with our sister schools, right, where it all started. So yeah, no, our board is absolutely amazing. They're supportive. They do, they help and do whatever we need to have done, whether it's, meeting the needs of specific kids. And I say like, hey,
Yeah.
we have students who need this, can you help us? Or just coming up with ideas. We're really, really, truly, truly blessed to have a great group of people to work with.
That's great to know. It's refreshing. Yeah,
Yeah.
as I don't want to talk bad about my school district, but I think we're too large and we've lost focus on being able to just care about these children and families. So, I have, a little
And
bit.
I feel for them because it is different
It
managing
is.
60,000 kids versus
It
managing
is.
our 700. So
Absolutely. So thank you again for your time. Greatly
you're
appreciate
so
it.
welcome. You're welcome. Have a
So-
great night. Reach out if you need anything.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. There's a couple still on here. Did anyone else have questions? Nope. All right, Miss Davis, it's just you and me.
Yay. Good job.
Hello.
Hello. I'm trying to find.
That was an easier group than Tuesday. They didn't have nearly as many questions.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they're done. That's you. Christmas week.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday, would you kind of like to come over?
Yeah. What day is that? The 23rd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that too close to Christmas for you guys, or you think you can manage it?
No, we're good.
Yeah.
We roll with it,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yay. Well, I am about
Colton,
to.
okay.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. And then me, Colton, and Riley in pajamas ran to get some more wrapping paper because we have some wrapping to do for tomorrow. So we walked into all the stores with our jammies on. We totally did.
Oh, that's so funny.
But and then I need to settle down and finish for tomorrow. I'm just gonna roll with it.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, I can't overthink it at this point. There's too much to do. So
Yeah, I'm kind of there too. And I think the teachers are going to appreciate more of the rolling with it. So
yeah, nothing too structured and nothing too intense. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I'm so excited. It's gonna be a good day tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
Yay. Well, get your butt home to your family.
I am packing up right now.
Good for you.
Ken went out with his buddies for his birthday tonight. So yeah, so that was exciting. So I'm just gonna leave my stuff here and pack up all my junk tomorrow. Like I always, I take it home and I clean it off, and then before the day even starts, it's accumulated again. Like,
you need a cart. You need a cart. Do you remember the old tote carts?
Also filled up with stuff,
Yeah. Yeah. So and then just let me know if the whole trip wants to come over. Obviously I have littles, but we have a separate area for TV. So if the girls came over and they were bored with the kids playing with the little kid toys, they could always just chill in another living room and watch TV if they wanted. So there's no exclusions. You just let me know who all's coming over, how many, and we will roll with it.
Okay.
All right. Well, I will.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a
no
good
problem. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Bye.